Hey, what's up my friend? Keala Kanae here, and one of the questions I get fairly often is how do I build a good quality culture with my remote team, right? And I'm gonna answer that in this video because the good news is that I've been managing a team remotely of 20 plus people or so for the last 2 years. I'm gonna break down for you how to create a compelling culture in this video, so stick with me. All right, so one of the struggles that we face as business owners, right, in this increasingly remote world is how do I create this dynamic culture with my team when they're not around? And I understand that. In fact, when I first considered getting rid of our office and taking my team 100% remote, I was really concerned about would we be able to maintain the culture that we had sewn together as a team, right? And of course, there is a benefit to being in person, seeing each other, having a cup of coffee together, sitting in the break room together. There's definitely culture that comes from that. But the good news is that it's actually possible to create a dynamic and compelling and attractive culture as well, even though you're remote. And I would say that the number one thing that's going to foster that is trust, right? In other words, first, your team has to feel like that you trust them. Now, I've done another video about this before where I show you how to manage the team based on numbers. That way you don't have to trust that they're doing 8 hours or 9 hours or 10 hours worth of work. Instead, you manage a number and you give them a number that they have to hit. And you trust them to hit that number regardless if they want to take an extra 30-minute break throughout the day, regardless if they want to go take their spouse out to lunch or take their kids to the park in the middle of the day. It doesn't matter as long as they hit that number, okay? And by giving them that trust, right, and they feel trusted, they feel like they have the space to be their own person, inherently, there's a greater culture. I mean, would you agree that most businesses today don't necessarily trust their employees, right? Now, I also get that this is difficult for a lot of us as entrepreneurs and business owners because I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that most of us are a little bit of a control freak. Yes or yes, right? So I'm aware, and I've been there before as well. So again, one of the big things, trust, is just by having a remote environment, you're creating a space for them to feel like you trust them. Next, big one, recognition, right? People love to be recognized for their good work, right? And this should be important whether or not they're remote. But every Monday, my team and I, we get on a call, we kick off our weekly meeting, and we talk about all the things that we're going to be covering for that week, the things that, like the important projects for that week. Each department will give a little bit of a heads up of what's to expect for that week, what they're working on that week. And when we do that, people who have had a standout performance the week before, we take the time to recognize them in front of the entire team, right? So that they know that their efforts are appreciated, are rewarded, and they actually have the ability for their cohorts, their other colleagues to see that they're doing a good job. And what happens intrinsically, what happens? Well, they're incentivized to do a good job again because they want that recognition, okay? And the third one that I'm gonna say is a big one is praise, right? Listen, I can't praise my team in person for doing a good job because I don't necessarily see them doing the job every single day. But when I see that their numbers look good, right? When I see that the new ad campaign that they launched is doing really well, when I see that, you know, the funnel that we built is converting really well, when I see that the sales team's numbers are way up, or even a particular salesperson's numbers are way up, when I see that our average ticket response time is going down, when I see that our customer sent us a super happy review, I will take the time to Slack them, right? I don't know if you use Slack, but it's basically just a messaging app. But I will take the time to reach out to them personally, individually, Slack them and let them know, hey, I saw that you did X, Y, and Z, and that was done really, really well. I just want to let you know that I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Right? I don't say thanks for doing a good job. I don't say, you know, I appreciate you doing that. I say I appreciate you, the human being that's out there doing the work. You know, without me being able to be there and look over their shoulder, I appreciate you as a human being and the fact that you chose to be here with us. And so I think that these are really the biggest things that help to create dynamic culture even in a remote team. And one of the things that I see violated the most is this one, right? Is that a lot of times business leaders who are trying to run their teams remotely, they're also control freaks, and they won't let their team get up and get running and get on their own 2 feet and start to create a routine, right? And another part of trust is that when we reprimand that team member when they did a bad job, we also can't necessarily make them feel scared to get up on their own 2 feet again, right? So there has to be a way of reprimanding them and letting them know, hey, when you did this, that wasn't quite what we were looking for. What I need in the future is for this job to look more like this. But I also just want to praise you for making the choice yourself. I also want to recognize that you're out there on your own and you felt like a decision had to be made and you went out and made one. And I don't want to beat that out of you. I just want to let you know that in the future, when you have that same opportunity, when you're faced with the same decision, here's what we do and here's why. And explain why we do it the way that we're saying to do it versus just, here's the way that we do it because this is how we do it, which is very authoritative, right? So as long as we're able to create that trust, create that space for our team members to feel trusted, recognized, and praised for the work that they're doing, it doesn't matter if they're in person or a million miles away, right? They'll still feel the overall culture of love and gratitude. So hopefully you get some value out of that. Somewhere around this video, you can click the subscribe button, drop a comment, let me know what else can I help you with? What other questions do you have? Have you run into these sort of challenges before? What problems have you had with some of your team members that maybe we can address in another video? Let me know. Click subscribe, turn on the notifications, and I look forward to seeing you in a future video, my friend. Take care.